And joining me now is the Homeland Security Secretary, Alejandro Mayorkas. Mr. Secretary, welcome to Meet the Press.
Thank you. Good morning, Chuck.
Good morning. I want to start with something Congressman Vicente Gonzalez, a Texas Democrat who represents South Texas. This is what he told the Washington Post yesterday. When you create a system that incentivizes people to come across and they are released, that immediately sends a message to Central America that if you come across, you can stay. I understand the on humanitarian grounds, the policy change on unaccompanied minors here. Are you concerned that a market efficiency has been created where folks have decided, look, my kid's got a shot at getting in the United States if I don't go with them?
Chuck, our message has been straightforward and simple, and it's true. The border is closed. We are expelling families. We are expelling single adults, and we've made a decision that we will not expel young, vulnerable children. I think we are executing on our plans, and quite frankly, when we are finished doing so, the American public will look back on this and say we secured our border and we upheld our values and our principles as a nation.
How can you say the border is closed if there is this, what some would look at as a loophole? And I understand on humanitarian grounds, but if the goal is to get these asylum seekers to seek the asylum in home country, Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, for instance, how do you get them to do that if our policy is to let them in at the border?
So, Chuck, we have a short-term plan, a medium-term plan, and a long-term plan, and the President and I have spoken to this repeatedly. Please remember something, that President Trump dismantled the orderly, humane, and efficient way of allowing children to make their claims under United States law in their home countries. He dismantled the Central American Minors Program. So we are rebuilding those orderly and safe processes as quickly as possible. But in the meantime, we will not expel into the Mexican desert, for example, 3 orphan children whom I saw over the last 2 weeks. We just won't do that. That's not who we are.
Okay, I understand that. Is this current policy, though, sustainable? Or are you concerned that the word will go out and you'll get unaccompanied minors from all over the world trying to come to our southern border?
Well, it doesn't work that way, Chuck. The system is a complex one. But let me just say that we are operating on parallel tracks. We are safely processing the children who do come to our border. We strongly urge, and the message is clear, not to do so now. I cannot overstate the perils of the journey that they take. And regrettably, I am all too aware of the tragedies that have occurred and continue to occur along that journey. But in the meantime and in parallel, we are rebuilding those orderly systems, both in Mexico, in close partnership with the Mexican government, and in the countries of Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador, so that they, in fact, do not need to take that dangerous journey. We are working in parallel streams to rebuild a process that has been entirely dismantled.
Do you want to get to a process where unaccompanied minors do not come to the border?
We certainly do, and we're working expeditiously to achieve that in partnership with the Northern Triangle countries and Mexico. We've had tremendous partnership thus far, and we're only building on that collaborative effort.
I want to put up a tweet from you visited the border yesterday. I believe it was in El Paso with a bipartisan group of senators, including Senator Chris Murphy, Democrat from Connecticut. And this is what he tweeted. I fought back tears as a 13-year-old sobbed uncontrollably, explaining through a translator how terrified she was, having been separated from her grandmother and without her parents. But he also said he saw overcrowded facility, and frankly, I guess my question is, why can he see it and not the American public, and certainly not the news media?
So if I can address a number of the points that you made, Chuck. Number one, can you imagine expelling that 13-year-old girl whom Senator Murphy held in her hands crying? That's not who we are, number one. Number two, we have dedicated FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Administration, to assist Health and Human Services to build the capacity so that we relieve the pressure on the Border Patrol stations, which I have said accurately, quite frankly, that that's no place for a child. And third, we are in the midst of a pandemic. We are focused on our operations in removing children from those crowded Border Patrol stations to the Health and Human Services facilities that can best shelter them. And we are also working on providing access so the American public can, in a safe way, without jeopardizing our operations, see what is going on. We're working on that.
Well, what does that mean? I mean, right now we have no access to or photos of the conditions in the facilities. There have been no ride-alongs with agents. All inquiries are routed through Washington. There have been strict controls on sharing data. Local Border Patrol folks feel like they can't even talk to our folks down there. Is there a gag order?
There is not. That is unequivocally false, Chuck. And let's be clear here. We are in the midst of a pandemic. We are, because of the extraordinary leadership of the president, climbing out of it more rapidly than ever before. But we are still in the midst of the pandemic. There is central CDC controls in place, and Border Patrol agents are focused on operations, on securing the border, on addressing the needs of vulnerable children. We are not focused on ride-alongs right now.
Speaking of the pandemic, Title 42. Senator Kamala Harris thought it was unconstitutional. It is still in place. Why?
Chuck, Title 42 is a public health authority of the Center for Disease Controls. It is not an immigration tool. And in the prior administration, it was used far differently than we are using it now. We have made a decision to serve the public health imperative, to continue to expel families, to continue to expel single adults because of the pandemic. But we have made a decision that we can address the public health imperative while addressing the humanitarian needs of vulnerable children. We are using it as the Title 42 authority was intended, and not as a bludgeoning tool under immigration law that the prior president used.
Do you have enough test kits down there to test all the unaccompanied minors in these shelters?
The unaccompanied minors are, in fact, being tested. When they arrive in the shelter of Health and Human Services, they are tested, isolated, and quarantined, all of them.
Finally, this interview has been all about one part of your job at DHS, which is the southern border and immigration. Can we expect DHS to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time with this current crisis at the border, with also dealing with the rise of domestic extremism?
Never underestimate the talent and dedication of the Department of Homeland Security workforce. Most certainly we do. We are very focused on domestic violent extremism. It is the greatest threat, terrorist-related threat that we face in our homeland. We are very focused on it. We've done a tremendous amount already. We have plans to do more. And I must say, when you mention that, Chuck, I just have to express the fact that our hearts and our prayers go out to the victims of the tragic killings in the area surrounding Atlanta.
Secretary Mayorkas, I do have a lot more to ask. You've got a lot on your plate, but I'm out of time. I appreciate you coming on and sharing your perspective with us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Chuck.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.